Welcome back, everybody, to Auto Auction Rehabs, where we are in Texas, between Austin and San Antonio, and it is raining. And when I woke up this morning, it was 44 degrees. And a few days ago, it was 80 degrees. It's cold. And my shop has no heat, no air. But we're out here. We're going to get it done, right? We're going to get it done. So if you watched the last video, you saw all the mock-ups that are going on. And what I'm going to do right now is bolt on the headers properly and then see what needs to be clearanced and what doesn't. I'm hoping nothing else does. But if it does, we'll deal with it, right? Okay, so I'm going to try and find a place for you guys to sit so that you can see what's going on. Bear with me as I do this. So you're on top of the tire. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to guess that that's probably about as good as we're going to get. I have all the light on I can put on. I do have a drop light, but I broke the bulb because I dropped it. So, here we are. Here's the gasket. Why is it a gold color? Well, because I sprayed it with the copper coating yesterday, anticipating needing to have them for today. They are still sticky, so that's good. And basically what you do is you bolt your headers up using the outside bolts only and just getting them started. And then these have the slots in to where you can just drop it down behind the header and then bolt everything up. So let's see if that works for us. You know what? I'm going to get a flashlight because I can't even see back behind there. There we go. So the flat side towards the block, because that is definitely flat, whereas the header is not. Man, that just dropped right in there. All right, now, these are Hedman headers, made in the USA, so they're bound to be good, right? Well, here's the deal. I said, okay, what about torque specs and what about sequence? And the sequence, it says, do the easiest ones first. Okay. I still would like to go with bolting up the middle and working my way out. I'm going to tell you here, it says right here, tighten all the header bolts evenly, starting with the easiest first. Well, that's torque spec and sequence defined. And at the bottom it says removal of catalytic converters and other factory air pollution control devices is illegal. Well, they didn't come with any. We recommend you adhere to your state's local laws. Our testing indicates performance is not significantly affected by these devices. Right. Okay. That being said, let's grab a handful of bolts. Let's figure out, you know, it's funny because as I'm ordering over the months, I say, oh, I'm going to need header bolts. Oh, I'm going to need header bolts. Ooh, I want ARP header bolts. And now I've got like 4 sets of header bolts. So these are 3/8. And what I'd like to do is just get them started and then come along with the ratchet and finish things up. We'll do one side together and then I'll do the other side off camera, because once you've seen one side, you've seen all sides. But if you're contemplating putting headers on and have never done something like this, this may be interesting to you. You just have to align that gasket so that it goes in the hole. so that the bolt goes in the hole. But then again, always remember, I don't do how-to videos. I do, this is how I did it videos. Did you guys see where I put the flashlight? Oh, there it is. All right. Now I know we're at a bit of an angle. So if I hold that up there, I'm not gonna make putting this in easier. Let's see. Maybe I'll just snug up the end ones. And then that way it puts us at a correct angle for the rest of them. However, that's not an exact fit for the gasket, so maybe I ought to look in one of these holes and see where we are. Okay. Can you see in there? Huh? I didn't think there was a difference between side to side, but there may in fact be. So, oh, dummy. Take this one out. There we go. Yeah, there's nothing back there. There's no hole back there. That's why it didn't go in. There's no hole back there. So basically you have two on each of these three banks. And these in the middle, I don't know what they're for. They might be for a different series of head. Who knows? And I'll double check on this side to confirm they are a dead end, both front and rear. So we're not going to be missing anything. All right. Put the flashlight up here. So let us continue. So let's look in the holes. Oh yeah, see, those are properly aligned for the holes. So let's put the bolts in. Oh yeah, slipped right in there. Get that just started by hand, and we can retrieve our ratchet in a minute and tighten stuff up. I like to get things started by hand, that way I don't cross-thread stuff. Now this one's not going to get a ratchet on it, but we'll get a wrench on it. Let's see, 2. This will be number 2 over here. Now I am going to do the 2 middle ones first, just because they clearly don't say you have to, but I want to. Let's see if, yeah, that goes in there. Not too tight, just snug for right now, just kind of drawing everything together. Don't want it tight. See, now this is loose as the son of a gun. And we'll just tighten this up by hand. Not tighten up, we'll just thread it in by hand. And that's just as easy as trying to hold on to the ratchet. There we go. There we go. And the outer ones we can snug. Now, let's take a look down here. Grab my flashlight again. Let's take a look down here since we're darn close. Yeah, see? That brake line is hitting the exhaust tube. So, we definitely don't want it touching. We're going to get that moved. If I have to rebuild brake line, I will, but I think I can just push it forward, bend it forward slightly, because there's a bit of an angle back there, and then it'll be away from the exhaust tube. So, easy peasy. Let me get my 3/8. I don't have the 3/8 out yet. Let's get the 3/8. And we'll snug this one up here that you cannot get a ratchet on. You can barely get a wrench on it. This is what I do remember about headers. And this is just finger tight still. Okay. Last time I had a set of headers on a car was in the 80s. I built a 70 RS Camaro. I built the L82. And why do you think it was an L82? Or why do I think it was an L82? Because I went to GM dealer in my local neighborhood, and I said I need a cam to replace the cam in my L82. And that's what I got. And I did that twice. I bought the stock L82 cam from GM, and I had the block machine. I worked at a gas station at the time, and I had met a guy that did road racing, and he had a Corvette. And I went with him to Phoenix. I lived in New Mexico at the time. I went with him to Phoenix, and a couple other guys that I knew from the gas station I worked at. And we went to Phoenix and went road racing, and I was part of his pit crew for a day. I didn't do much because I didn't know much. But his engine builder we were talking, and I said, yeah, I'm going to build an engine in the garage at the shop that I work at the gas station I work at. And he says, well, I'll swing by sometime and see how you're doing. And he did. And he said, okay, so here's what you need to make sure and do. Do this with the plug, with the gap on the rings. Do this here and do that there. He gave me a lot of pointers, you know, some of which I was familiar with, some of which I wasn't. I had to do research, and research at the time was looking through all the magazines, the hot rod magazines I had, and seeing if I could find an article that talked about it. That's what research was back then for me. Anyway, so there we are. I built a couple of L82 engines. One went in the Camaro, and a few years later, one went in a 1981 GMC Jimmy. That sucker moved too. I mean, those weren't high horsepower engines. They had a little more horsepower than what I would say a stock engine came with, simply because I had put a little higher compression ratio into them with the pistons. But yeah, that was fun times. I just really enjoyed that. And now that I'm retired, I have the time, and not necessarily the money. That's why this has taken 1.5 years so far. But I definitely have the time, and this is what we're doing. So, okay. I'm going to take care of the rest of the bolts and then go do the other side the same way, and we will come back and we'll check the clearance underneath and see if we need to do any more clearancing. Hang on. All right, so I started putting this side together and I looked at the clearance between here and the header tube and the lower A-frame mounting hardware there, and it's just a little tight for me. So I'm going to clearance that just a little bit more, because there's going to be flex in everything. So let me just clearance that a little bit more. I'll put you guys over here. I had done that previously, so you didn't have to see me wield a hammer. But okay, here we go. So this is the tube that needs a little clearancing. Well, that's great. Oh, my hardware is falling off. Let's just take that off. I just mocked it up there to see, because I hadn't used this system before. I just wanted to see what it was like. And there we are. I know what it's like. 3 bolts, 2 nuts. There we go. Missing a nut. And it's going to be down here somewhere. I found it already, which is unusual, because when something takes off on me like that, it usually takes a long time to find it. All right, let's see what it's looking like now. I'm going to look up top and check to see if the header flange is in the right spot. It is, actually. Did I do a good job? Yeah, I did. I did. We have a good 1/8 of an inch there. If I lift up. Oh man, I don't want to bolt it all up and then come back and say, I need to knock another 1/8 of an inch into it. So, let's do that now. Loud noises. So that's about there. Oh yeah, we are good. We're golden. Let's put some bolts in. I will do that on my own. I'll bring you guys back when I'm done and we can check the clearance. All right, let's go take a look underneath here now and see what clearance looks like. Oh yeah, buddy. None. So I'm gonna have to work on that for a minute. Damn it, everything's all tightened up too. Actually, is there clearance? No. So I'll see if, since I've dented it, can I pry it? If not, I take everything loose and pull it over where we were before and tap on it at a slightly different angle. I'll come back and let you know. Well, I took the Tanya Harding to it again after I took all the bolts out, loosed everything up. Left that one in the front on so that I could move the thing over. And I beat the living, I clearanced it real nicely. I believe we are properly clearanced. And without doing, this is just a coating. It's not even, it's a spray-on coating to keep it from rusting until it gets to you. That's nothing. That's just scraping it, putting it in. So yeah, we are now clearanced, and I have absolutely no access to that Zerk fitting. I'm going to have to get a 90-degree fitting to put on there. Isn't that special? That's no big deal though. That's easy stuff. Easy stuff. Kind of things you run across when you're doing a project like this. That's exactly what you run across. So, do we have clearance up there? Man, not much. Let me get you guys up there. And so you can see to the frame, there is not much clearance. I mean, we're talking just a hair. I'm gonna have to look at that from the top and see if I can see whether or not we're hitting. I hope not, because this thing is sturdy. It's not moving anywhere. I might have to use the influencer on it if it is touching. But look over here. Look how much room we have here. Not much. Not much at all. Huh. Well, hey, you know what? If it's close, that's okay. If it's going to cause a problem, then maybe not so much. Let's bring this thing down. Let me bring this down, and then I'll come back and we'll look at that. All right, let's get the flashlight. Let's get the flashlight. Let's find the flashlight. You guys see the flashlight? Gosh darn it. That thing walks like crazy. All right, now this is exactly why I have this thing here, see? So when I'm done with the tool, I put it in here, and then that way I can always find it. However, today it would seem that the flashlight has decided to take a walk. Maybe I dropped it and didn't know it. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's probably on the ramp here, on the lift. Nope, it's over here where I put the instructions on how to install the headers. All right, so flashlight action. Are we touching? No. We have about, oh, well, you guys can see, I think. There we go. That's how much clearance we have between the header and the frame rail. I wouldn't want to have to try and reach up there because I couldn't. Right there is where I thought we might have an issue, but we don't. Thank goodness. I just hope I haven't trapped my positive battery cable in there. Let's take a look. Nope, it is free. It is free. All right, very good. Well, I'm going to think for a minute on what might be next. And then we'll come back. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you find this interesting, entertaining, or just a joy to watch, drop me a comment, hit the like and the subscribe buttons, and the notification bell lets you know when I've dropped another crazy video. And I'm going to tell you right now, I appreciate y'all very much. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back in just a second with some more interesting content.